Last night's my horror night.
Welcome to the Last Video Store. I'm your host, Bud Haddonfield. This is the show we recommend the good, the bad, and ugly of horror movies. Last night I went to see the new Conjuring, Last Rites, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I pretty much liked every movie in the series, maybe except for the first two Annabelle movies and the third Conjuring, but I try to look at the good in all movies, so overall I enjoyed them all. I wanted to pretty much try to do a ranking of all the Conjuring series movies because there's so many, but I'm going to do it at a later date because I came up with an even better idea. I would like to talk about 15 supernatural movies, whether it's demons, it's a haunted house, or there's some kind of possession, there's ghosts somewhere, not necessarily in the house, but fixated to an object, very similar to the Conjuring movies. So I was going to do 10, but of course I couldn't narrow it down because there's just so many of them that I loved, and a lot of them are older from the 80s, but just because it's old doesn't mean it can't be new to you if you've never seen it before. So like I said, I got 15 of them. They follow in those rules that it's either a haunted house, there's a demon, there's a possession, there's a haunted item, something within that supernatural realm. So in no particular order, and I'm not going to give too much about this because maybe vary on down the line. I'm going to do some isolated episodes on each movies, and two of the movies in this list I've done an episode before in the past, so if you haven't seen one of those previous episodes, I want to recommend it to you again. So the first movie on the list is probably one of the newest, and it is Deadstream. Deadstream is a really fun movie. It's about this YouTuber. He got canceled for doing something, but he's trying to do his best to win over his fans. So he goes to this haunted house, and it's a horror comedy, and it's a whole lot of fun. You can find this one on DVD. I think they did an out of the country Blu-ray, if I'm not mistaken, or a Steelbook, which I've never really been a fan of Steelbooks. But Deadstream is a Shudder original. It's a whole lot of fun. It's very Evil Dead-ish, so check it out. Seriously, it's a really good movie. It's like the perfect movie to watch around Halloween time. So, continuing with Halloween, we have Hell House LLC. I pretty much liked all the movies in this franchise as well. The first one's really good. It's a found footage movie. If you haven't seen it, some people are in this, it's like a haunted location, and they try to make a spook house, but there's actual evil spirits lurking into it. And that's all I'm going to say because it's very enjoyable. So I did an episode on Superstition a while back, and it is a haunted house type witch slasher movie. It's really good. It's very enjoyable. It's from the early 80s. I believe the early 80s, 1982. So years ago, this witch was killed by the church, and she vowed that she was going to come back. And years later, the direct descendants of all the people that put her to death publicly executed her. She comes back and she kills them in a nice, horrific fashion. So, Superstition. Fear No Evil. This one is kind of similar to, what's the name of it? The Beast Within. So it's about this kid, and he's a teenager, and he's kind of weird. He gets bullied in high school, and when he gets older, he unlocks like this weird possession. It's a good movie. It's kind of complicated, but it's very enjoyable. And I believe all these movies are still in print, so you should be able to find each and every one of them without any issues. But Fear No Evil is a lot of fun. Another more recent one, I say recent within the last 10 years. This one's Girl on the Third Floor, and it stars wrestling CM Punk. So his wife is pregnant, so he bought this house. He's trying to fix it up to where, whenever she gives birth, they can move into the house. But the house has a very horrific past. There is some dog deaths, but I don't believe it's on scene. But it's actually a very fun movie, and CM Punk does really good in this one. It's very gory, some scenes, but again, very enjoyable. So, Girl on the Third Floor. I'm sorry if there's a glare. So the next one is going to be the Devonsville Terror. So years ago, there was a witch. The town kind of like talks about it and whatnot, and we get this woman. She's a high school teacher, I believe, and there's also like a reporter. I haven't seen this one in a while, but like certain pillars of the community think that these women are witches and whatnot, so they do some things. And long story short, one of them is a witch, and she gets them all back, and that's all I'm going to say about this one. So the next one on my list is going to be the hearse. The hearse is a real fun one. A woman moves to town. They got this weird hearse that keeps showing up at a certain time. And that's really all I'm going to say, because I don't remember too much about this movie, because it's probably been about 10 years since I've seen it, but it is very enjoyable. Another found footage one that came out within the last, I want to say 15 years, but time goes by so quick. 2010, so exactly 15 years, and it is Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters is a whole lot of fun. Like I said, it's found footage. It's about a TV show within a movie, Grave Encounters, and they go to all these different supposed haunted sites, and they don't ever come across an actual real one. So they have like a medium, the cameraman and whatnot, so they come across this asylum. And once they're inside of it, spooky shit starts to happen, and it is indeed haunted. So that's all I'm going to say about Grave Encounters. This one is probably one of my many favorite horror movies, because there's just so many I love. It's a huge childhood favorite of mine, and it is the original Night of the Demons. If you haven't seen this one, it's a Halloween party, I believe 1988. So they go to Hell House, which used to be a mortuary, and it's haunted by demons, and people get possessed, people get tongues bit off, people get lipstick shoved in places they shouldn't necessarily be shoved into. But this movie's a whole lot of fun, and it spawned a franchise within itself with 2 sequels and a remake. So I've always loved Night of the Demons. So Kevin Tenney directed Night of the Demons along with some other movies, but one of the ones he did before was Witchboard. I believe Witchboard was 1987, 1986, so close enough. Tawny Kitaen, yes, that same Tawny Kitaen, she lives in this apartment building with her boyfriend, and one night at a party, she and some other people fuck around with a Ouija board, and they summon the soul of this little boy who's pretty much pretending to be the little boy, but it's this little demonic serial killing fuck, this fellow right here, and he starts doing things. He's possessing people, and this movie's actually a whole lot of fun. And this one also spawned 2 sequels and a remake. It's pretty much out. It went to select theaters, and I'm waiting for it to come on streaming right now because I can't wait to watch it. But Witchboard. Retribution's another one from the mid 80s. This mild-mannered fella and whatnot, he gets possessed by a former slain hoodlum, and he pretty much changes himself. It's kind of like what was the name of that damn movie? I loved it so much. I can't think of it, but like I said, this fella, he gets possessed, and he starts changing his appeal to the person that possessed him, and it's kind of similar to Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou. But this one's a good one. It's a good possession movie, and there's a lot of pretty good kills, and you kind of feel for the main character because he was such a good guy that you want to see something bad happen to him throughout this whole endeavors and whatnot. So Retribution. Session 9, for the longest time, it's like I was always bored with Session 9, but one day I actually sat down and watched it, because a lot of times I'm doing something, I'm playing at the house, I'm cooking, I'm helping my kids with homework, and it was a late one night, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to try to rewatch this movie, try to enjoy it, and pay every much attention I can to it, and this movie's actually really good. So it's a company that comes in and cleans this old asylum. They got some issues and whatnot, and they have a lot of recognizable people in this movie. And one of them comes across tapes, and they're all sessions, like 1 through something, and it's with this little girl, and she kind of got like multiple personality syndrome. And spooky shit starts to happen. And let me tell you, at the end of this movie, when this shit hits, it hits hard, and it's pretty good, and it kind of like creeps you out, but in a good fun way. So Session 9, if you haven't seen it. This one's, everybody knows House. I've always loved this movie, especially the first one. Roger Cobb, he is this horror writer very similar to Stephen King, and within the process he grows up in his aunt's, I think it's his aunt's house, and the house is haunted and whatnot. Well, His son goes missing. Don't know where the hell the son went to, because it's not like there's any tracks that was left behind or whatnot. And he and his aunt thinks the house took the son. And this one, like I said, is very good. It spawned 2.5 sequels, because technically the third one isn't a House movie. The horror show with Lance Henriksen, if you haven't seen that one. But House is a whole lot of fun. It's a perfect spooky season movie. One I talked about in the Halloween episode is going to be Lady in White. This one came from 1987. It's all in the eyes of this little boy, Lucas Haas, I think his last name is. He's a very recognizable actor as well. He was in a lot of things. He was even in one of the seasons of The Righteous Gemstones as one of the fucking Montgomerys. So it's back in the day, I believe in the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken. Small town America. He lives with his dad, his dad's widow, because his mom had passed away, his older brother Gino, and his 2 grandparents from Italy. And the grandparents are always like fighting, and it's funny because he likes to smoke, but the grandma doesn't want to let him anyway. I'm getting ahead of myself. So one Halloween night, he gets trapped into the school on accident. 2 little assholes that are classmates of his thinks it'd be funny if they locked him in the closet to the coat room. And while locked in there, he sees this ghost, and it's the ghost of a slain little girl. And he pretty much, throughout the rest of the movie, tries to find his way to help this little girl's spirit to rest. And there's a kid serial killer. And it's a fun, spooky movie as well. So, Lady in White. And the last movie on my list is going to be The Frighteners. If you haven't seen The Frighteners, it came from Peter Jackson. I believe this was one of his first big American movies. I want to say this is 1995? 1996, close enough. So, Michael J. Fox is this paranormal investigator, and he has 2 ghost buddies that hang out with him, and they pretty much stage possessions of poltergeists just so he can make a living. But at the same time, there's a serial killer, a sinister, supernatural serial killer going around killing people and carving numbers on their heads and whatnot. So this one's a fun mystery in itself, and it has D. Wallace Stone, if you know who that is, and fucking Jeffrey Combs. I love that dude. So, The Frighteners. So, all right, that's been my list of 15 great supernatural movies, or 15 of my favorite supernatural movies. If you haven't seen any of these, please check them out. I recommend all of them. They're all readily available, so there's no reason why you can't find them if you really want to. But thank you for tuning in. I'm Bud Haddonfield. This is the Last Video Store. Go check out Conjuring Last Rites, because like I said, I really enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Michael Myers are the heroes of my past. Now the media is dying. Chucky and the zombies now all up in cemeteries. So brave